My name's Brenton Caffin. I'm the Chief Executive of the Australian Centre for Social Innovation, or TAXI for short, which is based in Adelaide in South Australia. And I spent the last 36 hours flying from Adelaide, Sydney, Singapore, Frankfurt, Gdansk to join with Six here for the winter school. So the radical redesign methodology is about bringing together design and policy and business and community skills and approaches, and to look at ways that we can radically reinvent the way we get better social outcomes by working with citizens, with users, to both design and to deliver new approaches. The work that we've been doing most recently had been looking at ways of enabling families to thrive and to prosper. And the result of that work, Family by Family, is a network of families helping other families to thrive, where we take families who've been through tough times and have come out the other side, and we link them up with families who are still doing it tough. And through that process, they help identify and work on particular developmental goals. And that's been a fantastic process of co-design and co-production, where families have helped us shape what this service looks like, and families are the solution. It's not about professionals. The role of professionals is behind the scene, just to kind of help, bring this whole process together. And so in doing it this way, we believe we can mobilise community resources to get better social outcomes. I think there's a huge opportunity to use these methods far more broadly, both across sort of community development, but also in terms of public policy design. I think the days of top-down policy design that's dreamt up behind desks based purely on desk research and literature reviews, I think are gone. There's a place for literature and evidence, but it needs to be balanced with spending time with people to actually check whether it actually resonates with them in their context, whether it actually speaks to the outcomes that they want to get, and whether the way it actually is built and framed and delivered does so in a way that it feels authentic to them and engaging. And I think public policy in the past has been very poor at designing attractive services. And by using these methods, I think we can actually design services that people want to engage with. I don't think social innovation is going to replace democracy, but I do think perhaps it might be challenging it and certainly supplementing it. I think the notion that the only say that people should have in deciding policy is to come to the voting booth once every 3 years in Australia, 4 years elsewhere, and voting for one party or the other is a very indirect way of actually getting their input into the way that we design the services that they interact with on a daily basis. So I think these methods can strengthen civic participation in a different way by actually getting people engaged with the design and development of new services. The environment for social innovation is an interesting one. I think in a lot of respects, Australia has a very enviable position from an economic and a fiscal perspective. We have some of the strongest growth rates. We have a very low public debt by comparison with the rest of the world. And I think that creates both opportunities and challenges. I think on the opportunity side, clearly we're not as constrained as others are on budgets and so on to try different things, and clearly governments at different levels, federal and state, have been trying to experiment with different ways of embracing the social innovation agenda. I think one of the challenges is, in the absence of a crisis, there can be a degree of complacency, and therefore the need for social innovation isn't felt maybe quite as urgently as it is here in Europe, where I think it's quite widely understood that if we're going to try and maintain or improve standards and outcomes for people, and to be able to do that with far less investment, then we're going to have to come up with radically different models for getting those better social outcomes. We don't necessarily have that same business case in Australia, and I think that is a bit of a challenge. But on the whole, it's a very benevolent environment, and we're certainly getting a lot of people excited in the work that we're doing and wanting to be part of it. I come to Six because I think it's really important that that this community of practice does come together regularly to share learning about what they've been doing, what's working, and start to build, I guess, a little bit of rigour around the methodologies that we use, and the hope that we can improve the impact of the work that we're all doing. And so for that purpose, we're very keen to put our stuff on the table, to share and equally to listen to what other people are doing as well. I think what the SIX community has done for tax is to accelerate our learning and understanding about the different models that are around the world. When we were established, I took soundings from a lot of the various organisations that are represented here in Gdynia and talked about what we proposed to do, and got a lot of feedback and a lot of advice from people who'd been there and done that. And so that accelerated the point at which we could actually start making an impact. And that was really, really helpful. I think SIX is at a really important kind of moment. I think over the last few years, it's been quite useful to, as this field's been emerging and growing, to have a network that actually helps find these organisations and connect them up to one another, and that's been of value in and of itself. I think going forward, as this field starts to mature, I think there's a really important opportunity for SIX to actually help put some meat on the bones, if you like, of the different kinds of work that's being done around the world, and to, I guess, as I said before, to add some rigour to the work that we do, and to help grow capacity across the world. I think SIX has an opportunity to actually help us all get better at what we do, and as new organisations emerge, they can not just be connected with the other players in the space, but can be connected to a body of knowledge and of learning.